All right, part two of the brake swap on a 2000 to 2006 Toyota Tundra. Did the fronts already. This is part two of the video. Got brave and I decided to continue on with the rear brakes. So these are drum brakes, and we're just gonna start by taking off the wheel, obviously, and then pulling this cap off the drum. So I got lucky. My drum actually came off pretty easy. These are the shoes on all the hardware. I'm gonna have a fun time with all that right now. If this doesn't come off very easily, the other way to do that is to kind of spray some penetrating fluid on the studs. Try to get it off. These are also threaded right here, these little holes, and you should be able to screw in one of the bolts that can screw into this and push the plate out so you can pull it off. All right, taking a look at our drum kit. We got our brake shoes here. Nice. And then we have a brand new drum. Now we need to pull this out and make sure it's identical to our old drum, because we don't want the same issue we had with the front brakes, which was that they were too big, but the rear should be the same. All right, I gave everything here cleaning with the brake cleaner. Sprayed the crap out of it and just put a rag underneath it to catch all the dirt and debris coming down. Once you do that, try to cover your face or be in a ventilated area when you do that, because all that dust is toxic, and you know it's going to be going everywhere. So once you spray it down, at least let the dust settle, come back, and then work on your disassembling all this. So here we're going to start with taking our adjuster screw. We're going to pull back on this little part right here and go that way, which is lefty loosey. Okay, once we got it backed off, we let some tension off the shoes. We're gonna get these little springs off, so you have to push down and twist them. You see that slot that's like vertical? You try to get that pin through that slot so you can remove the spring. And the way you do that is I'm gonna use some pliers and push down and then twist it and then pull out. So that didn't quite work out like I wanted it to, but I got creative. I got some pliers and just pushed down, and I used another pair of pliers, something like a needle nose plier would work, but this is a wire cutter or splitter. And I turned the pin as I pushed down on that, and it was able to release this. So yeah, once you got the spring off, then you just turn the pin so you can get the cap off, and then you pull the pin out from behind. Save the hardware because we're gonna reuse it. All right, next we have a little horseshoe clip right here that we're gonna knock out using a flathead and a hammer. Just knock it. All right, so from here you release the emergency brake cable, and this guy, we should just be able to put tension back against the spring. There we go. And get this guy released. All right. Okay, again, I don't have any special tools with me, so I have to get creative. It's gonna be kind of hard to show you, but I put basically a screwdriver down here underneath the hook and pushed against the adjuster screw to pull out, and then I use a pair of pliers to pull away from the spring so that I can release the shoe on the other end. So essentially what I was trying to show you was that I had the screwdriver underneath, a flathead screwdriver underneath the hook here, and once I got it underneath the hook here and prying this way, then I grabbed the pliers and pulled towards this way to unhook the spring. Once that spring was out, then the rest of the shoes would just come out. Make sure you gather all the hardware from the shoes because we're going to be reusing it. Took a little finesse, but on one of the shoes there's another horseshoe clip like this. I just got either side flipped up and I started hammering it, and then I was able to get a flat head right in between it and then knock it out that way. And then I pull the rest of it out of the way with the pliers. All right, well, now we got it all apart. I did another spray down and wipe down just so that we're working with some cleaner parts. I'm gonna clean out the threads on this adjuster screw and use some silicone spray so that it stays a little lubricated in there. And then just double check your shoes to make sure there's no other hardware that is remaining on them before we transfer everything over to the new one. Okay, we got our shoes matched up. Just wanted to make sure that they are in the correct orientation, because you do have two pairs. Just make sure that you have the right ones paired up with the ones you're working with. Once you got this pretty much assembled, then you're just gonna slide this over the hub, and we're gonna need to put our retaining springs back in. All right, so I hooked in the top portion of the shoes into the piston there, and then it's kind of being held together with the outer edges of the drum. So now we're gonna put in our retaining springs. All right, getting this stupid little retaining clip is way harder than it sounds. So what I ended up doing was getting creative again. I used a socket to push the spring down, and then from the back I twisted the pin so that it could stay in place. So we're gonna do the same thing with the other side. Okay, got everything back in. These little springs, man, I don't want to wish it on my worst enemy. They were really hard to get on. But now that this is good to go, we're gonna take our screwdriver and basically push this out, just so that it's snug when we put the drum back on. If not, we're just gonna go back one or two and then just enough so that the drum can go over. So normally you want to spray these down, but these actually came pretty clean and dry. So we're gonna throw this on and test fit it, see if we're good. Okay, you want to keep adjusting it until these shoes are slightly dragging against the drum. There's also, if you can see, there's a little window back there, and basically that allows you to put the drum on and then keep adjusting it just so that you can see that it's barely dragging. If it's barely dragging, then you should be good. All right, brake bleed procedure. Basically, I'm by myself, so this is a one-man bleed kit. You can get this at like AutoZone or O'Reilly's for like 10 bucks. It's pretty cool. Has a little magnet, sticks on whatever's metal. You just gotta have a hose that is long enough and one that can fit over the brake nipple. Right now we're under the passenger rear. Usually when you do brake bleeds, you're gonna do it furthest tire from the master cylinder. So here's the passenger rear, then we're gonna do driver rear, and then passenger front, and then driver front. All right, you get in the driver's seat, you give it like 20 pumps, and then open up the bleed screw down there, and watch all the bubbles come into this bottle. Then I'm gonna jump in the driver's seat again right now and give it a couple pumps, and then come back and check to make sure there's no bubbles in this line. If there's no bubble in the line, then we're good to move on to the next one. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna make sure that the fluid keeps cycling till it's clean, and then we're gonna repeat the process for each one. Make sure you keep filling up the reservoir up front to make sure that there's enough fluid, or else if you introduce air into the system, you're gonna have to redo this again.